Wow, good afternoon, everyone. Wabash Kiniw, August Host Boh Kubrakovich, of course, the lead keeper of the Treaty 2 territorial government, the Anishinaabe government. First off, I'd like to say, wow, this is a great publication. If you haven't seen it yet, grab a publication. It's available in each of our nations. It's awesome to know that we're covering the news. We have a special edition, of course, this month. We have both what is happening in our nation territory, what is happening in all our nations is one edition. Beautifully done. Our keepers and helpers, hats off. And of course, our special edition. If you haven't grabbed it yet, you'll know the agenda. The agenda is in here. We have the schedule. We also have the Onankonehkawin win, and that's what we're talking about today, the overview. And it's just amazing work that is happening right now in our territory, our government, and our nation. And tomorrow we're involved with a naming ceremony with Robert and Mary Maytawashing in the Nemo Being Anishinaabe Nation. So that's going to be very exciting for us. And of course, this edition today is Onankonehkawin, and brought to you by our fine folks at MTN Live and MoccasинTrailNews.com. Marlene Davis is our new keeper in that role, and she is rolling down the highway in publication, as well as getting ready for the Grand Council. And she's right now involved with a lot of the treaty days that's happening in our territory. Also, shout out to Scotty Linkslake. He does a wonderful job with our internal, external, and all other communications that we're connecting internally, externally, as well as Danielle McGurry. She does a great job in that aspect and what's happening with the communications as a whole. So there's lots of exciting things that's going on in our territory. We have to say one thing, though. Next week, of course, our Grand Council is going to be reviewing the changes to the Onankonehkawin, and such a beautiful job put together by all the councils, and the councils did a great job in the last 2 years to review. The document was put into law, of course, the 18th of June 2020, and Resolution 001 to create the alliance, go from the Anishinaabe Treaty 2 original nations, which are 9 in the territory, to the alliance, which basically constitutes all 24 nations in our territory, plus the 6 on the eastern side of Lake Winnipeg, if they choose. But the Onankonehkawin is online. You can check us out, FNT2T.com, and of course, through the whole entire publication, talks about the laws. And beautiful, beautiful work that our admin staff has done, put together, and we are rolling on the Grand Council next week in Kakakwekejeong, Anishinaabe Nation. That's ebb and flow. And they did a wonderful job. I'm telling you right now, I'm the first to say that they did an amazing job in our summer games, our first annual summer games of many. Our sports and recreation law that's up and going to be presented to the Grand Council next week. In the 2 days, you'll get the chance to review the law, and such a wonderful work that the Youth Council and Craig Bolio, our keeper in sports and recreation, did on the law as a scriber. And the council really put together a good view of what is happening. But I do want to show you one thing that is really impressive as of late. We've really defined the government through many of our resolutions. But one resolution that's going forward, of course, is a Onankonehkawin. And what does that look like? And it starts off with the people, of course, Onankonehkawin. And once passed with the revisions and the amendments that were put together in here, it's already passed by the Grand Council a number of years ago, 18 and 19. But we have it ready to go under the alliance, and of course, naming of the nation, territory, and government tomorrow in our great nation of the Nemo-Seabing is going to be just a wonderful step. And it's taken 151 years to reclaim the process. Are we going municipal? Absolutely not. This is as far away as possible to municipal governance. Canada and the cities in our territory are under municipal law, and that will change a lot after next week. Because it gives us the chance to reclaim the governance that truly was with the original ancestral people of the territory. So I'd like to recognize the Anishinaabe and Dakota, and Cree nations in our territory. And we've done a wonderful job connecting. Can we do a better job? Absolutely. Are we going to do a better job? Well, it's only a growing and next steps, right? So we have a lot of obstacles, and one of the obstacles, of course, is fear and change. So with that, the principles of the Anishinaabe way of life is the front and center of our entire process when it comes to the Nakadaway Win. But if you look online right now, I'd like to really let you know that the people come first through this law, and the people make the decisions every year. You'll vote on laws. It's a consensus government, of course. So next year, a lot of these laws are in place the day after, but next year you can really do a great job of attending the Grand Council like you will hopefully next week. But the Grand Council year after year after year reviews the laws, but also gives the chance to change the laws too. There's a lot of nice clauses in all these laws that have come forward. But I especially want to mention that the legislative process is what starts out in the East. So the legislative process is an area that all the councils work at, and the councils really work hard to assure that they have your support, but your back in all the areas within the territory, and of course, reclaiming the governance in the territory gives you the chance to say, hey, we'll look after our own peacemaking and our own peacekeeping and our own health and well-being and our own children, families, and nation. So Minoa Vigia law has really defined itself, and it's a hybrid law that will work for today. It'll balance whatever Canada has thrown at us and whatever we need to do as a nation, territory, and government. So that law in itself is keeping the children home, keeping the families together, creating opportunities for our families, such as work opportunities and sports and recreation opportunities, and everything that we could get available to us and enhance our families and, of course, the nation. And the nation itself is responsible for making sure that there's a future for our youth and a future for our families and a future for all members involved. So this is very exciting next week. And Kakakwekejeong, ebb and flow, and they are really excited. They did a wonderful job at the Summer Games last week. Ogama Desjardins and his council and Tyrone and his chairs were just amazing. They're great hosts. Anytime you get to their nation, they will make sure that you're looked after. I'd like to go further, though, talk about the Treasury Administration. Treasury Administration law, and it's in here. It's also online. So when you register for next week, you'll get all the laws sent to you. You'll get them in a virtual online file, as well as you'll get a paper copy. So we've decided to get the paper copies. We are a paperless government, but we decided because the laws are so important, we need paper and we need to utilize and get in the homes of all the members. these publications should be in your home now. I was in Kiniw today, and what a wonderful ceremony they had with their youth facility and sports and recreation. You can't say enough of what August Anderson and his council is doing. When Councillor Thompson started talking, it was just unbelievable. Unbelievable. 7 eagles flew by us and flew above us, and we watched the eagles soar around, and they let everyone know that the presidents were there. So amazing work that they're doing. Blair Thompson and his other colleagues, council, talked about how important it was for the youth and how important it was to turn talk into action, and they are doing it. The Treasury Administration Law is, there's a really good overview in the paper, and I'd like you to talk to your family members and nations to really define the role of a member and define the role of the nations through the Treasury and Financial Administration Law. And the work has been done by the nations. Local nations got together for a number of a year and a half to really define the law and get it in the process and get it worked through all the councils, member councils. Your representatives come to all the meetings, and then they take that information and get it back to you, get it back to your chief and council as well in your transition of your own Onankonehkawin, and hopefully that gets passed any day now as well. But the Treasury law really helps, and that's in the legislative process. The Earth Lodge speaks for itself, of course, and the Earth Lodge continues to work hard. We have a booklet itself with the Earth Lodge, and they're ready to showcase what they're up to and what they're advancing. So we really, really want to highlight that the identity and wellness and lifelong learning and nation building is such an important part of the Earth Lodge, and they look after the capacity for us. They've been put together their work plan, and their implementation plan is to focus heavy on what we want them to definitely work on a regular basis. So with that, I want you to really get onto the websites lodge.fnt2t.com, and you'll get so much information. Our websites are incredible. You can't ask for a better website. When it comes to FNT2T.com, I've been in the website business for probably about 30 years, since the first time internet actually existed close to 30 years ago. And I would say that this is the best I've ever seen a government website. So much information. I've been going to a lot of the powwows, as you know, and as you're following me. I've been going to many powwows. The Scout and the Anishinaabe did a wonderful job this past weekend. Of course, August Kakakwekejeong and his council were there, as well as Joseph Maud, former council member of Scounan, as well as former member of FNT2T. He did just a fabulous job with the powwow, and the committee itself. Wonderful. Every child matters, and rightly so. Every child does matter, and we've worked hard for that, and we want to push for it as well. So I do want to mention that we need to move on a number of things, and one of them is the Onankonehkawin through the peacemaking, and the peacemaking is in our news paper as well, and peacemaking online. You can check us out online. You can check out the 4 banners in the front of the website that really focuses on the peacemaking itself, and how the peacekeepers and the tribunal and the commission and our peacekeepers with helpers and keepers really come together, and we go through all the circles, right? So make sure you read all the circles, read all the laws, and what they say about the peacemaking. It's really defined. So the executive, of course, the executive has been extremely busy. The executive works hard every every day to assure that administration is there. Administration as a lead keeper, I oversee in the executive circle. I get reports directly to what's happening in administration on a weekly basis, not a daily basis, but a weekly basis. And a lot of times we do our best to hear everything out, but focus on the laws, members. I know you need the day-to-day HR and some of the smaller areas, and we look after a lot of the small fine print in what we're doing. But we're also advancing in the $6.1 billion for the infrastructure programs and services. 21.5 million acres out there. So we've built Canada 27.5 billion for the use of the lands for the year and then the lease back. And that's year 21, 22, 22, 23. The invoices, Ryan Sutherland has sent them out. And also we're working hard to assure that Canada at least has the attention. We'll send it to collections or to their courts as well as our tribunals. They owe us the money, and that's your money as members of the territory, the government, and the nation. So we want to make sure that those monies come to you directly through whatever you're passing as a local nation. So we're very excited about that. I want to get extremely well into right now the if I could show you just a kind of what's happening during our Grand Council next week. Craig Bolio is putting this on, and he will make sure that if you haven't registered yet, make sure you have. So with that, the show is definitely interested in hearing about what you're up to, and we want your comments. We're going to be giving some nice giveaway. Marlene Davis and myself will push hard for the MTN Live and Moccasin Trail News. I'm the host right now, and eventually we'll get bigger and create more opportunities and more keeper and helper positions. But with that, I want to thank you and of course, thank everyone that has shown interest in what we're doing. And make sure you get your Moccasin Trail News. All 12 nations have these at the offices, admin offices, as well as the gas stations and stores within each nation. We have it also in some of the cities as well. And make sure you get a copy. Also online, you can get it on moccasintrailnews.com. With that, Teacher Miigwech, Nanas Kamin, and Echo Sani for, of course, your addition to MTN Live with the host, Boh Kubrakovich. With that, Miigwech, have a great Monday evening, and we'll go from there. Thank you.